Hi everyone, this is Dr. Mamta Java, microbiology faculty, and I welcome you all to episode 2 of a new series called Microshots, which I've started exclusively on my YouTube channel. And guys, in this very episode, I'm going to tell you the infective form of medically important protozoa. So, guys, parasites can be classified into two broad groups, the protozoa and helminths. Now, please remember that protozoa are the unicellular organisms, right? They have got three O's in their name, protozoa, and from O, recall zero and O are analogous to each other, and that serves as a small reminder that all the protozoa are unicellular, okay? And protozoa word has got pro in its name, so remember, these guys are quite proactive in terms of motility. So basically, what I want you all to remember is most of the protozoa are motile. In fact, we can classify protozoa based on the different kinds of organs of locomotion. Like some of them are motile by pseudopodia, some have flagella, some are cilia, and few are non-motile. Now, the non-motile protozoa can be remembered as BPT or Bachelor of Physiotherapy. Now, B is Babesia, P is Plasmodium, and T is Toxoplasma. Okay. Now, please remember that as far as these non-motile protozoa are concerned, that is the B, P, and T. In these cases, guys, man is the intermediate host, unlike most of the other parasites where man is usually the definitive host. All right, so in case of Babesia, Plasmodium, and Toxoplasma, man is the intermediate host and not the definitive host. Okay, so we'll take up different kinds of protozoa based on their organs of locomotion, and we learn their infective forms. So first and foremost, we have got the protozoa which have got pseudopodia as the organ of locomotion. Pseudopodia is nothing but an extension of the cell membrane, which makes that protozoan motile. And in this group, I want you all to remember the medically important ones, that is Entamoeba histolytica and the free living amoebae. Now, Entamoeba histolytica, is the causative agent of amoeboid dysentery, all right, and the infective agent in this organism, in case of this organism, is the quadrinucleate cyst. Please remember that the number of nuclei cannot be more than 4 in case of Entamoeba histolytica. When the cyst has got 4 nuclei, we call it quadri or tetranucleated cyst, and this very cyst is the mature form of the cyst, and it is the infective form. And we, the human beings, get infected most commonly by consuming or ingesting this quadrinucleate cyst in contaminated food or water. That is the most common mode of infection. All right, then less common modes of infection in case of Entamoeba histolytica include homosexuals, where orogenital or anogenital intercourse can also lead to infection. All right, and then very rarely flies and cockroaches can serve as mechanical vectors. Okay, so these are rare, but most commonly this organism is going to infect humans by consumption of contaminated food or water. Okay, that is fecal-oral route. And then we have got the free living amoebae, where we have got two important types, Nagliria fowleri and Acanthamoeba. Now, free living amoebae are called so because they're not strict parasites of humans. All right, they survive independently in brackish waters also. And there are two important villains under the free living amoebae. Villains, as in the ones which disturb human beings, which cause disease in human beings. So we have got the foul play wala organism, that is Nagliria fowleri. It causes a dangerous disease called primary amoebic meningoencephalitis, that is PAM. So the species name itself has got foul, that is fowleri. It is going to this disease, by the way, primary amoebic meningoencephalitis is fatal. Okay, so far only 3 or 4 cases have survived. Right, now, in case of Nagliria fowleri, we have got the amoeboid form, which I have drawn over here, as you can see on the screen. All right, this is the infective form, and this organism's pseudopodia are lobe shaped, and that is why they are known as lobopodia. Okay, and the infective form is amoeboid, amoeboid trophozoite in case of Nagliria fowleri. And what is the mode of infection? The mode of infection is nasal contamination while swimming in fresh hot water bodies like ponds, rivers, lakes, and swimming pool. Okay, and very very rarely contact of this amoeboid form with broken skin can also lead to infection. All right. So remember, amoeboid form is nothing but an example, a specific name of trophozoid. Tropho means to feed. So in case of protozoa, certain morphological forms are called as trophozoids. Tropho means to feed, and amoeboid form is the special name of the trophozoid of Nagliera fowleri. Okay. Then the second free living amoeba is the acanth amoeba, which causes GAE, that is granulomatous amoebic encephalitis. Okay, so granuloma formation is seen in this case. So basically, it is not as fulminant disease as Nagliera fowleri causes. All right, so acanth amoeba causes, chronic disease called as granulomatous amoebic encephalitis, because granuloma formation is going to take some time. Right now, guys, as far as acanthamoeba is concerned, we have got two types of infective forms, the amoeboid form and the cyst, as you can see on the screen right now. Now, the amoeboid form has got spine-shaped pseudopodia, okay, which are known as acanthopodia, and that is why acanthamoeba has been named so. All right, and whatever I have labeled as N, Fe, and Cv in the diagram of amoeboid form, that respectively refers to the nucleus, the food vacuole, and the contractile vacuole. Okay, and then the second infective form is cyst, which, as you can see, is a double layered. There is the outer wrinkled ectocyst and the inner smoother endocyst. All right, and nucleus obviously is present. All right, so in case of acanthamoeba, the amoeboid form or the cyst cause infection through inhalation of aerosols in which these forms could be present. So, inhalation of the aerosols containing either the amoeboid form or the cyst is going to cause infection in humans. All right. Then, guys, we have got the flagellated protozoa, where we have got three important varieties: the intestinal flagellate, that is Giardia lamblia, also known as Giardia duodenalis, or Giardia Giardia lamblia or Giardia duodenalis. So remember, the most common site of residence of Giardia lamblia is duodenum. This itself is an MCQ. What is the most common site of residence of Giardia lamblia? It is duodenum. Okay, and the infective form in case of Giardia lamblia is quadrinucleate cyst. All right, as you can see over here, the quadrinucleate cyst has got four nuclei, and what I've drawn in sky blue color is a stylish slanting structure called as axostyle, which is going to be responsible for forming the flagella in the trophozoite form in future. Okay, then a Giardia lamblia, this is the infective form, and how does it cause infection? The mode of infection is fecal-oral route. That is, the quadrinucleate cyst is going to be ingested along with contaminated water or food. Now, guys, please remember, in case of Giardia lamblia or Giardia duodenalis or Giardia intestinalis, which, by the way, all mean the same organism, it is contaminated water which is a more common vehicle as compared to contaminated food. Remember, water in Hindi is known as jal. So, Giardia infection most commonly occurs following ingestion of contaminated water as compared to food. Okay, so that's about the intestinal flagellated protozoan, that is Giardia lamblia. Then the second one, we have got the genital flagellate, that is Trichomonas vaginalis. Remember, T for Trichomonas, T for trophozoid. This organism, this protozoan, does not have a cyst stage. It is a strict human pathogen. The mode of infection is sexual intercourse. Okay, and the trophozoid is the infective form, which, as you can see over here, I have drawn, and it has got inverted spear shaped. It has got total five flagella, four anterior ones, and one the fifth flagellum, it comes off laterally, known as recurrent flagellum, and it is nothing but the undulating membrane. All right, so that's about the infective form and the mode of infection in case of Trichomonas vaginalis. And lastly, we have got the blood loving ones, the that is the hemoflagellates, Leishmania and Trypanosoma. So remember, HALT, HALT. H for hemoflagellates, A for nothing, L for leishmania, T for trypanosoma. So basically, the blood loving flagellates, that is the hemoflagellates, are the ones which are going to spend part of their life cycle in the bloodstream. So in case of leishmania, we have got the infective form as, the promastigote form, right? It is present in the sandfly, and humans get infected when the sandfly containing the promastigote form bites humans. And in case of trypanosoma, it is the metacyclic trypomastigote forms which are the infective forms. Okay, so two important trypanosomes which we need to remember are trypanosoma brucei and cruzi, for which respectively the vectors are the CC fly and the redovid bug, right? So basically, these vectors are going to have, during the act of biting humans, it is the metacyclic trypomastigote forms which are going to initiate infection in humans. So we are through with the pseudopodia bearing protozoa and the flagellated ones. Third category is that of the ciliated protozoa, where we have got just one important, medically important organism, that is Balantidium coli. So remember, B for Balantidium coli, B for big. So this one is the biggest protozoan infecting humans, and also it is the only ciliated protozoan which causes infection in man. Its reservoir, basically most important reservoir, is actually pigs. Man is just an accidental host which this organism happens to infect. And the mode of infection again is fecal-oral route, and the infective form is the cyst, as I have drawn over here, which has got two nuclei, the macronucleus and the micronucleus, and the cyst wall is double layered. Size of the cyst is 40 to 60 microns. All right. Then coming to the non-motile protozoans, which I told you to remember as BPT, Babesia, Plasmodium, and Toxoplasma. In case of Babesia and Plasmodium, as I mentioned previously, also the intermediate host is the man. Remember, intermediate host is the one where the asexual cycle of the parasite takes place, and the definitive hosts are the ones where sexual cycle takes place. So the definitive host for Babesia is a hard tick called as Exodes scapularis, and in case of Plasmodium, it is the female Anopheles mosquito, not the male mosquito, because it is the female mosquitoes which require a blood meal for egg maturation. And the the infective form is the sporozoite, okay, in case of Babesia and Plasmodium. Then finally, Toxoplasma gondii, which I personally call as a toxic organism. Why? Because all the morphological forms in this organism are going to cause infection in man. That is, we have got the sporulated oocyst, all right, which when consumed along with contaminated food or water, it can initiate infection in man. This, by the way, is the most common morphological form to cause infection, and this is the most common mode of infection, fecal-oral route consumption of the sporulated oocyst. Then we have got other modes of transmission, of this parasite also, like consumption of the tissue cyst, which has got the bradyzoids. And how do humans are going to how do humans consume this tissue cyst? It is there in the meat, in the undercooked meat which could be consumed by somebody. Now bradyzoid is an example of a trophozoite. Okay, brady means slow, so remember, bradycardia means slow heart rate, tachycardia, rapid heart rate. So brady means slow. So bradyzoids are a kind of trophozoites which are slowly multiplying, and they are present in the tissue cyst. Okay, so this is another way by which Toxoplasma gondii can cause infection in us. And then lastly, we have got the tachyzoids. Okay, these are present in the bloodstream. Now tachyzoids can cause infection in humans through via blood transfusion, organ transplantation, then lab infections, transplacental infection also. Okay, so these are the important modes of these are the important modes by which tachyzoids, which are the rapidly multiplying forms, which can cause infection in humans. All right. So guys, that's about this episode of Micro Shots. Please let me know in the comment section how are you liking this series. Your feedback means a lot, and you can follow me on my Instagram page mj.micro, my Facebook page Dr. Mamta Java, YouTube channel. Of course, if you like these videos, please share it with your friends, seniors, juniors, and you can suggest me topics for upcoming videos on my channel. Please subscribe to the channel, smash the bell icon for notification for future videos. And I'm also there on Telegram, running my own microbiology channel, as well as a separate microbiology group for doubt solving, updates, quizzes, and all. And also I'm there on Twitter. Okay, so it's nice to interact with students through these social media platforms, and I wish you all the very best for all your upcoming exams. Thank you. God bless.